Hi, and welcome to this episode of Textbook Technique. My name is Blaine.
My name is Jonathan, and here we have our special guest, Francis.
In this episode, Jonathan's going to be working with Francis on the basics of pointe work. Although pointe work is extremely beautiful, it is only for advanced female dancers. Dancers have to have ankles strong enough to support their body on pointe. It is very easy to injure your ankles and other parts of your leg with incorrect pointe technique, so be very careful.
Before we begin with proper exercises, it is very important to warm up the feet and the toes in the pointe shoes. Here, Francis is going to demonstrate just some very basic prances and roll-throughs. Here she is really taking her time to push her arch out over the top of her box, really warming up her ankles. She's warming her legs up by stretching her calves. It is really important to stretch out the shoes and the top of the arch, so that you can always be on top of the box and on balance. With pointe work and balancing on your toes, proper placement is very important in the pointe shoe. Here, Francis is going to show the proper placement on the pointe shoe. As she rolls up, her weight is evenly distributed on the very middle of the pointe shoe. She is not pronating too much, winging the foot. That is very dangerous, as well as sickling, which is very dangerous. The weight has to be very evenly placed over the box. Here, Francis is going to demonstrate a very important aspect of pointe technique, where you plie and releve up onto the top of her box on one foot, demonstrated here by the step called fondu. Here she plies in one leg and strongly springs onto the one foot. Notice how her arch is over her box and her box is flat on the ground. She's not sickling nor pronating. Very good.
Notices Francis's legs from a different angle. She rolls over the box of her shoe. Beautiful arches, beautifully pointed feet, deep plie with her heels down over the box in each position.
Now we are going to demonstrate a very basic pointe step called échappé. This means to escape. Here, Francis is going to go from a plie in fifth position and tendu both legs out to a second position at the same time. Notice how she gets out all the way over the top of her box. Here we are going to demonstrate échappé in a full combination, along with passe balances. Notice how she's right on top of her legs and all the way over the box, not pronating and not sickling.
Now, Francis is going to demonstrate pirouettes on pointe. Pirouettes on pointe are different than pirouettes on flat simply because the dancer must spring up to the top of the box of her shoe. Francis, can you show us? As in all pirouettes, Francis spotted her head and held her back and tummy tight. Can you do it one more time, Francis? She gets all the way to the top of her shoe.
Here, Francis is going to demonstrate a combination that includes pirouettes and tombe pas de bourrée. Notice how she really points and accentuates her beautiful feet as she rolls through onto her box.
The next step Francis is going to do is called a bourrée. A bourrée is a traveling step in a tight susu fifth position that most ballerinas do to get from one point to another. It's supposed to simulate floating in the air. Francis, can you demonstrate a bourrée? Notice how her feet stay tight, crossed, and almost fluid when they move. The next and last step that Francis is going to demonstrate on pointe are called hops on pointe. Hops on pointe are an advanced pointe step and are usually coupled with bourrées in most female classical variations. On a hop on pointe, the dancer hops onto the box of her shoe, développes her legs forward, does 1 or 2 bourrées, and simulates that again on the next foot. Francis, can you demonstrate? Notice how she stays up on her toes, uses her turnout and her port bras in conjunction with the rest of her body. Very clean and elegant step. Thank you for watching this episode of Textbook Technique.
In the next episode, Blaine and Francis are going to show us some partnering tips.